Hello, welcome to this interview on the topic school development in times of rapid changes. My guest is Holger Schmidt from ITECH Technical College in Hamburg. ITECH is member of Skillman and very engaged in innovative teaching and learning approaches, like agile workshop formats, design thinking, and self-organized learning. All these three in combination. But before we will start, some remarks to the backgrounds of today's interview. More and more, it has become obvious that we urgently need changes in our educational system, and I speak with a focus on VET systems. The traditional educational system is very bureaucratic and cumbersome. It takes time for a change if, for instance, new needs are identified at the labor market. On average, a new occupational profile needs negotiations, decisions, and so on, lasting all in all nearly a year. The situation has become a bit better in Hamburg because VET schools are allowed to develop modules for additional skills and the curricula are open for new technologies. That makes us more flexible. But it's a matter of leadership and organizational culture to use this freedom. In other words, the challenge is how to get a big ship moving. Your school, Holger, has been very successful in this respect, and therefore my first question is, how did you start, and what was crucial for you for a successful start?
Hi Gunnar, and thank you for conducting this interview. You named a few points that are very important in vocational educational training and for us as a technical college in particular. It is obvious that in a ever-fasting, changing professional environment, the educational organizations need to adapt to that change as well. I think the first and most important thing to do when talking about organizational change is to create a mutual understanding of the vision and the reason why you want to change. To get all your colleagues on board why there is a need to adapt to this changing world we are living and our students are working in. Once that is done, you will feel a change in the organizational culture. Now I jump a couple of steps, and our answer is we need to teach in multi-professional teams to tackle the multi-professional problems that our students face in their working environment. And in these professional teams, multi-professional teams, we share the responsibility of the learning outcomes with the students themselves. So it's a culture of self-responsibility for the learning outcome.
Yes, Holger, thank you for the statement, it's very clear. But I have another question on this. Are there specific roles supporting school development?
To make it short, yes, we have special roles that we've implemented to support our project management here at ITECH. As a technical college, the majority of our staff belongs to the teaching staff, developing and holding the courses, working with the students. But we found it necessary that we develop some, by now roughly 10% of our colleagues, in the regard of agile coaching. And those agile coaches then support and coach the actual project teams that run the projects and act as developers in the projects regarding cultural, organizational change, and in the curricular development projects as such.
Oh, agile coaches, that is a really nice catchword. And I'm interested in the process. What is the process like in terms of project development for these agile coaches?
Well, first of all, we got rid of many of the top-down decisions any organization usually has. We see the main job of the management board as living and communicating the vision. And then we give the freedom to our teaching staff to come up with ideas, bottom up, create projects, write specifications for their projects, and apply with those projects. We decide then, are they worthy to be funded? Or do we need changes within the project specifications? And once a project is ready to go live, we ask usually 2 of our agile coaches to join the project team and support it and guide it through the project itself.
Oh, thank you for the statement, Holger. Agile coaches, that was the real interesting catchword. And you mentioned 8 to 9 trained agile coaches for teacher projects. And that means you have many teacher projects applying for approval with the management board. And that is really for me interesting because it is not a matter of course that teachers express a willingness to start a project. So could you explain what kind of framework or let's say preconditions are needed for this success?
Interesting question. I wouldn't say it's a precondition or a framework. It's more a mindset. And we achieve that mindset by creating that bottom-up process and by giving the freedom to develop your own project that commits something to our overall vision. We had more trouble finding colleagues to commit to a project when the management board gave the projects top down. But since we have a mutual understanding of the vision and the stakeholders, the teaching staff themselves are allowed, and we ask them and encourage them to come up with their own ideas for projects, we find ourselves in a different position that we, the management board, need to look carefully what kind of resources do we have and how many projects can we run at a time. And by now we're in the situation where we have to postpone some projects because we have a lot of really good ideas coming up from the teaching staff.
Yes, Holger, by the way, what kind of tools do you use for the support of teams? You have these agile, it's one catchword, and project management, accompanying the teams and so on. So how does it work?
Well, as an organization with a staff of roughly 90 full-time equivalent and projects usually covering about 10 to 15 colleagues plus 2 agile coaches, we don't need a full-grown project management software. The essentials are usually a collaborative online platform, web session tooling, a shared platform. I don't want to name any provider. The usual suspects will work. What else we need? Really helpful are the basics such as a Kanban or Scrum board where you manage your task and your backlog and such on. But there's no need for a full-grown project management software providing you calculations, charts, and so on. Keep it rather short and simple, little project reporting, that's all you need. And the agile coaches will take care of the rest and will keep the project running.
Yes, finally, let's say a last question. Could you make some remarks on the success of your approach, Holger?
Yeah, we see changes in the way projects run at ITECH here in Hamburg. One, you can really call it a success, is that we do this for 3 years, and the pure figures show that we finish more projects in time with a positive outcome. And we also stop more projects where we see, okay, this project has a series of problems and is now at a point where it does not run through as smoothly as we thought. And maybe it's better to quit that project right now before it turns into a zombie, a project that runs forever, eats up resources, and never seems to find any kind of end. So we get more projects done successfully, and we are more capable of identifying those projects and stopping those projects that run in a direction where we don't want it to be. So that is really one success. The other thing is that we get more and more external organizations getting in touch with us, wanting to learn or know about our approach of project management and change management here at ITECH, nationally in Hamburg, and also international. So that's a really nice development. And if anybody hears that and is interested in an exchange with us and our approach of agile project management, just get in contact.
Yes. Okay, Holger. Thank you very much for this informative interview and this very advanced approach. And as you can see on the top on the left side on the background, we have the Skillman International Forum, and the theme is the Planet of Skills. And I think your approach is worth to be mentioned as best practice for these developments. Thank you very much.